And welcome to your beautiful day. I'm Jen, the mother of gratitude, and we hope you are having a beautiful day of your own. With me today is Pearl Knapp-Chiarenza.
Yay, you got it, girl.
Yay.
Good job.
And she's going to be helping us with all the types of positivity, influences, how to make our life better. She's my life coach, because God knows I need one, and helping me get my message out and staying positive and grounded during this time. And I want to thank Dupre Recording Studios for having us today. Dupre is located in Clearwater. It's a state-of-the-art, beautiful facility that you all should come and see for recording, producing, everything that your heart desires in the most beautiful, creative surroundings. It's just an inspirational place. Once you hit it and come in here, you will be completely addicted. And I'm very happy to have on the show today. Are you excited about this?
I'm really excited because I know some secrets that I'm so excited
know
to
some
know.
secrets, do you? We have with us someone that I've been wanting to talk with for a while. He is such an amazing person. He's an actor, producer, and a USA silver medalist for world table tennis. He's been in a lot of really great movies that are coming up. I was supposed to go behind the scenes and meet him and do an interview with him, but unfortunately that's been postponed. And so without any further ado, welcome to the show, Navin P. Kumar.
Welcome.
Yay.
Thank you so much.
We are so happy to have you. I love your story. And that's one of the things that I want to share with the world is your inspiration.
Thank you.
So where did you grow up?
I was born in Arizona.
There you are.
Sorry about that.
That's
I'm
okay.
going to plug this in. My battery just gave me a 20%. And give me 1 second here.
Technology is so much fun, isn't it?
I tell you.
But we're
So it
all
makes
getting
life
creative
beautiful.
right now, right?
Yes, we are.
We're being
Yes,
so
we
creative
are.
with all this great technology we have.
Oh, my
so
goodness.
We're appreciative of it.
Absolutely. So I was born in Arizona. Parents came from India. My father did his master's degree at University of Arizona. So eventually I was born in Arizona. We moved after I was 10 months old to Utah, where I lived for 8 years. Then Colorado for 1 year, and then been living in Maryland since 1983.
Oh, wow. What did your father get his degree in?
He got his degree in engineering, and his focus back then was in mining engineering. So he got transferred a lot when I was younger. And then ultimately he joined the federal government, retired from the government service sometime around 2005, I believe, and just enjoying life now.
Nice.
So what brought you guys to Maryland?
My father's job.
Okay.
He wound up getting laid off, and I'll explain this in a little bit more detail, but I had underwent my third of 5 open heart surgeries in Denver, Colorado. During the 1 year that we stayed in Denver, my father found out that he was getting laid off, which was a scary thing because here I was needing to have this life-saving surgery, and open heart surgery, unfortunately, isn't cheap. So I don't know how my parents did it, but they maintained their smile and confidence during that horrible time. Eventually, my father found a job out here in Maryland, and very grateful to be out here and
nice.
Just to do what I can to help. So
now, do you have any other brothers and sisters?
Yes, I have an older brother who's 7 years older than me, and I have a younger brother who's 3.5 years younger. So I'm, I guess you can say I'm technically the bologna of the sandwich.
You're the middle.
And
You're
the middle kid.
And then I want to ask you, so how old were you when you had your open heart surgery, your first one?
First 2 open heart surgeries, I was only 3 years old. My mom had just given birth to my younger brother, in fact, in Utah. And then my parents found out I had to have this life-saving heart surgery. So you can imagine being a mother and having a newborn child, having to leave that newborn child with a neighbor so you could take your older child for a life-saving heart surgery. And, they had to take me to Houston, Texas. They had never been there before.
Wow.
So it was a scary time for my parents. And thankfully, there was an organization that Mended Hearts that took my parents in, were able to find them a place to stay, shower facilities, everything. And of course, my mom didn't want to leave my side. She even slept on the hard floor during that time
Absolutely.
to be with me. And yeah, I had my first two heart surgeries 2 weeks apart from each other.
Wow, 2 heart surgeries.
Now,
at 3
what were
years
you
old.
born with?
I was born with an extremely rare heart condition called Shown syndrome with multiple congenital heart defects. I was diagnosed at the age of 20 days. I was born premature, first of all, and they didn't know. I wasn't expected to survive with what I was born with. I actually should have died, and thankfully, I'm still here. When they did the diagnostic test when I was 20 days old, they did what they call a heart catheterization, where they stuck a catheter tube. Normally, they stick it through the femoral artery in the groin, up through that artery through the heart. But since I was a newborn baby and very tiny, they did it through my right arm. And unfortunately, the doctor ruptured the main artery here. And I know you can't see it from your screens, but this hand here, the fingertips, they actually started necrosis. They would have. I lost blood supply to this arm. They almost amputated this entire arm. My mom wanted to kill that doctor because it was a mistake on their part. Fortunately, they found a vascular surgeon just in time who was able to be rushed in, and they surgically repaired this arm. And thankfully, I still have this.
Right.
So it just kind of went to show that life's going to give us good times and bad times, but we have to stay positive through it all and not
life
panic.
finds a way.
Absolutely.
Just hit finish.
Okay.
It's not recording.
Oh, got it.
So
you were basically born against the odds. I mean, you came into this world with some struggles. How has that created you where you are today? Because you really
it's had
haven't.
a huge impact on me. Realizing that life is going to give us good times, life is going to give us difficult times, but whether it's good or bad, it's a blessing for me to be able to wake up every morning, listen to my mechanical heart tick, hearing that sound, and just saying thank you for that privilege of being able to take that breath. Life is such a blessing, and when you see the world that way, and you realize that, yeah, we're going to face good times, but even with the bad times, things aren't always as bad as we think they are. We have bad times in this world, so that way we can better appreciate the good times when we have it.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I see the bad times, it's a lot like my table tennis games when I play table tennis. Yeah, it's awesome to win, but I find it even more of a blessing when I lose, because when I lose, when I face defeat, I embrace it. I see it as an opportunity for growth. I see it as an opportunity for self-introspection. And when you see losing and defeat, failure and fear as something good, you'll be surprised how much inner strength that can give somebody. And there's nothing you can't do then. Yeah, I may fail any given moment, but there's always tomorrow. And
Exactly.
Contrary to what you always hear, failure is not an option. That's ridiculous. Failure is always an option. But the thing is, we have to learn from our mistakes and not repeat those mistakes and hurt ourselves or hurt others. But if you can learn from it and grow from it, failure itself, that is true success.
That's such a powerful message, especially as a life coach. That's what I talk a lot about with the people that I work with as well, is that, you there's so much to learn from failure. And I think even, many athletes will say that as well. They learn more from the failure than from their success. And when you can come through the ashes of that, whatever that default is or that defeat is or that, lack of success in whatever you're doing, there's so much you can learn from that. And like you said, if you have to apply those lessons, though. You don't want to just keep repeating those same lessons. And, I think about, Jen and I both are parents, and, we both have kids, and that's something we try to teach our kids. Sure, we're moms don't know, you know how it is, but you grow up, you're not always, you're just my mom, I'm supposed to do what you say. However, there's so much powerful lesson in that. I know from, my experiences too. I learned a lot more through my failures. I love my success, but I learned a lot through my failures as well. Mm-hmm. It's a great message.
Thank you.
How did you gosh, I just have so many questions. How did you get into acting?
That is a great question.
How did that come to you?
I started showing interest in acting actually when I was a young kid. Living here in Maryland, we had a Peter Pan musical in elementary school. And to this day, I regret that during the auditions, I had a chance to audition for one of the main parts, but I was too shy back then to sing because I was afraid that the other kids and, that they'd laugh at me. Maybe they would think I was a bad singer. And I chose not to do that. And I wound up getting a part as a background part as one of the pirates. And I would sing in the background. But to this day, I regret that because that's not who I am. It's contrary to what I just mentioned about the whole point of staying positive. And even if my voice was bad, that's not a bad thing. Then it's something I can work on, something I can improve on. So yeah, I missed out on that opportunity. But from that point on, the next time I got into stage acting was in high school. I wound up auditioning for the musical there, and I got the part. And that was some of the best experiences of my life was on that stage. And that opened the door because I had been playing violin since 1983. Whatever I hear music-wise, whatever I hear, I can play back within seconds on my violin. So
that's
I got
gift.
that hearing.
It's a great gift.
So that gave me a fearless attitude of being on stage, performing in public, performing solo to large groups or small groups. And that in turn led to me getting into motivational speaking. And the more and more comfortable I got on stage, it just seemed like the natural progression to get into movie acting when that opportunity presented itself last year. And that was the experience of a lifetime for me, just being able to work with more experienced actors and most importantly, staying humble. I had a lot of people when I made the announcement on Facebook that I was getting into movie acting and I had this movie gig with Attack of the Unknown. I had a lot of people saying, Navin, be very careful. Don't let Hollywood change you for the worse. Because you always hear stories of, those kinds of stories where people, what's the word I'm trying to think of? They let it get to their head. And, it might change them for the worse.
But with your life and the life that you have lived and the way that you've lived it, you flowed with it, not against it. So you already had your foundation created.
Exactly.
So you were able to walk into that world without any type of, you knew you were waiting for this moment.
Absolutely. And it had the opposite effect. Instead of me getting influenced negatively, I found that I was actually influencing people on set and everything positively.
Bingo.
And I find that positivity, I've had a lot of people in the Hollywood industry tell me that my positivity has been really good for them. It seems to attract people like a magnet. I think as a species, we're naturally inclined to being around positivity. Negativity, we're always surrounded. It seems nowadays we're surrounded by negativity, and we need that positivity in our lives. You have to have a balance and realize that as a species, I'm nobody special. I'll be the first to tell you that. But I believe that we have the capability of a species of doing so much to improve the lives of ourselves and improve the lives of others by realizing that when times get difficult, like right now with the coronavirus, we have the ability to adapt to anything, but we have to, first of all, we have to remain calm, first and foremost.
Exactly.
Because we cannot, things are always going to happen around us, and we cannot control the actions of others or disasters or anything else. We cannot control that, but we can control how we choose to react to those things.
That's so true.
And by staying calm and staying positive, you'll be surprised how much we can truly accomplish. And in a way, I'm a living testament to that because, here I am. Life has knocked me down so much, but the joy of being knocked down is to be able to laugh it off, pick yourself back up, and just
keep going,
keep fighting the fight.
Right.
Yeah, those are some really powerful. What you said, there was a couple really powerful nuggets, especially with what's going on right now. I no, I don't know who did this study, but there is a study that you are who you hang out with. So if you hang out with negative people, you are going to be a negative person, but if you find,
they're not going to last with me.
I'm not going to last. But, they even tied it back to like if you had done a weight loss, if you did weight loss and you're hanging out with people who don't take their health seriously, you lead down that path. So I love that lesson you just shared there.
Thank you.
And there's a lot of fun, I think, in this point in time that we can have with our own voices.
Oh, yes.
And with Navin and what he's gone through, being able to see the inspirational people, being able to see somebody, like I said, I went through a Cat 5 hurricane and a Cat 10 divorce. I got this. Like, the world has been, where I thought it was going to be taken away, and now we're looking at the world literally, almost being taken away. With the coronavirus, how do you inspire other people, Navin, that you've been talking to in your daily life?
In terms of how I inspire them, I just...
like because of their worries, they're scared, they're...
Absolutely. Well, Facebook is my primary mechanism for reaching out to people. So right now, I would say it's just being truthful with people and sharing with them that, we're all going to face these tough times, and who's to say that we'll get through this time. I do believe we'll get through this, but there could be situations in the future where this may become the new normal. Maybe we're going to have this issue, and the thing is, we cannot panic, and we have to make sure. First of all, we have to make sure that we don't lose our sense of humanity from this. The other day I had mentioned on Facebook that I had gone to the post office to deliver some packages. And I was wearing one of my masks because I am in the highest risk category for death because of my underlying medical condition and my weakened immune system. So here I was. I went to the post office, long line, had my mask on. And there was a lady in line that kept staring at me, and she looked very concerned that I had this mask. And I looked at her, and I simply told her, I was like, don't mind me. I'm a part-time ninja in real life. So she did what you just now did. She started laughing. And just seeing that laughter, and it totally calmed her. Mm-hmm. And then after that, she was no longer concerned. Then there was a gentleman in front of me in that line who had forgotten something, and he had to rush out. It was a huge line. So when he came back, he decided he would just wait in the back of the line. And I happened to see him. I was at the front, and I've been waiting for a while as well. But when I saw him, I was like, "Sir, you were ahead of me, and please take your place in front of me." He was so grateful. The look of smile and the gratitude, it was priceless. And I let him in front of me, and that was that. And what I'm saying now is that, again, we cannot lose our sense of humanity. We have to continue to maintain our sense of humor and just showing compassion for others. And that means not hoarding things like you see, like toilet paper and all this stuff. And, if people do have extra toilet paper, and rather than trying to sell it for $100 a roll, why not give it to somebody? Give it to your neighbor. Give it to somebody who, might not have any.
Right. And that's just, I have to go back to you standing in line at the post office. That is so classy. And I don't know where we lost our class in society, but that is so classy to let someone back in line, because we're so conditioned, once you get out of line, you're done. Kind of like at Disney. If anybody gets in line at Disney, you're going to kill them, But,
It's so true.
Everybody's wishing death to that person.
Sometimes you wish they'd get out of line so you can move up faster.
3 more people are going in front of you. And that is so classy. And those are some of the actions that I really want and desire to come out of our country and all around the world. And it is around the world. People are like that in other countries. It's just ours that I think that we need to have more people like you that are able to play it forward. I don't think you pay it forward. I think you play it forward. And helping other people in such a small way each day changes the algorithm of our entire society, and to do it with humor and to all of us be little ninjas out there. I think that's pretty cool. I really, really do. Tell me about how you got into table tennis. How did that come to you?
I'm so grateful for that. My father, when I was 4 years old, we were in Utah at the time. He knew I was going to have a difficult life ahead of me with all my heart surgeries, and I was under a lot of physical restrictions, which is another reason why this coronavirus for me hasn't been too big of a deal, because I have faced social isolation and social distancing my whole life, because before, during, and after my heart surgeries, I'm just like how everybody is now. I had to keep my distance and, make sure I didn't get sick.
Isn't that interesting? You were actually able to acclimate to it faster than anyone else because you've gone through it before.
And at a young age,
Absolutely.
too.
And at a young age. So he was ready for it.
For me, it's second nature, yeah. So my father, he knew I was going to be under restrictions. So he introduced me to table tennis. And what's interesting about table tennis, it's one of the few sports out there where, you can tailor it to like a recreational level, or you can tailor it to what I play on the world level. And realizing that, on a given night when I play at my table tennis club, I represent the Maryland Table Tennis Center here in Gaithersburg, Maryland.
Congratulations.
Thank you. On any given night on my leagues, I may face a guy my age. I might face a little Chinese girl that's 6 years old. I face a World War II vet. And no matter the age of each person or the gender or the physical handicap, I got to face all those people with the same level of intensity, because that 6-year-old Chinese girl is more than capable of kicking my butt.
Right. Oh yeah,
the speed at which I have, and I have to look past that.
You can't get sucked into the cuteness, man. She's gonna take you down. She's 6.5.
They're big bullies,
Yeah, they're big bullies.
So I've learned to show my respect.
Though.
It's true. They're very intimidating, especially at that young age when they know they're
like
so
mesmerized.
good at the sport.
Oh, look, cute little kid.
Holding up their little ping pong paddle and.
And they're so serious, I'm sure, right, Navin? They're probably really serious. Like, I've got this guy.
I'm staying on the good side. But I have to show the same level of respect. So there's not too many sports where you can say that, where a sport can transcend gender, handicap, age. And so, table tennis has been a constant companion my whole life. I played recreationally. I played in some tournaments when I was younger. Won some tournaments as well. And but true winning, I've learned, is not winning your match or your game. True winning is just playing the sport. So when I face my opponents, I now represent the United States as history's first athlete to actively compete with Parkinson's disease on the Olympic and Paralympic levels.
Wow.
So I have traveled throughout the world in my Paralympic qualifying competitions. And what a lot of folks don't realize, for table tennis, to qualify, I compete against the same people I would face in the Paralympics at these qualifying competitions. So I've experienced what I would face if I was actually competing at the Paralympics, which as of now, I have not done that yet. But at these qualification competitions, I find that true winning is not winning your match. It's just being able to play the game, to be able to represent your country.
That's beautiful.
When I look up and
awesome.
I see that American flag, I give thanks, for being able to play and represent my country. And I think a lot of us have forgotten that is the true gold medal, not what you wear around your neck or whatever, but just being able to play and realize that there are a lot of people out there that aren't blessed with that privilege. Maybe they're bedridden because of their medical conditions. I'm here to represent them and show the world that, that in spite of the struggles we face in life, we can still accomplish our dreams. And it all starts with having a positive attitude and the willingness to put in the work. And that's how I've been able to conquer Parkinson's disease and being able to conquer my limitations of being born with this heart condition. I've had 5 open heart surgeries, and each time I had to face death, and I had to see my mother cry when the doctors told my mother and father that more than likely I would not survive. And that's a surreal moment, being wheeled back into that operating room and having to say bye to my parents and bye to my brothers, and to look my mother in the eye and, with the possibility that could be the last time.
Oh my gosh.
And it really teaches you to really appreciate life and appreciate the people around us. If we all face that, then, maybe we'd realize that, when we are faced with the coronavirus, that we are not our own enemies. The virus is our enemies, but as humanity, Vasudeva Kutumbakam, that's Sanskrit for all of humanity is one family.
I love
and
that.
I truly
This
believe
is
that.
true.
There's no our ancestors were idiots in the sense that someone one day said, okay, you're a white person, you're a black person, you're this, you're that. No, we're all one color.
Right.
We're brown. We're all different shades of one color.
Yep.
We're all one family. I'm so against the racial classification system. It divides us.
It does.
We all bleed the same way. We all
we do.
breathe the same
just
air.
gonna say, yeah.
We're all family.
We're all
But
looking up. It's all going in the same direction.
Amen.
It really
That's
is.
so true. In my family background, my husband and I, we were blessed to have our oldest was born of our hearts. So we were blessed to had a mom who believed that she didn't want to abort her child. So we were able to adopt him, and he's mixed race. And that was one of the things we said. All growing up, there was never about color.
Right.
It was about, we have a love to have a child, and we've talked about that all growing up, and him and I are actually going to work on a book when he's ready to write the book. But that's so true, because there's so that whole color thing. There's so many different levels of that. I love that you share that, because we really are, and that's for me. That's how when my husband and I had the opportunity, we're like, we don't care. It could be black, white, China. I don't care. I know there's a child out there that's meant to be our child. So I love that you share that.
I always thought my kids would look like the United Nations, because I kept saying I'm going to adopt. I'm going to adopt. I'm not having my own. And so, yeah, I so appreciate that. How is that transcended with working with the Mahal Empire?
Gosh, it's been an incredible experience for me, because I've had the opportunity to work with actors worldwide, from all cultures, all backgrounds. The Mahals themselves, they're originally from India, like myself, like my ancestors.
Right.
And that has been good. And getting to work with other actors, not only from the United States, but again, from all over the world, and seeing the differences, but more importantly, seeing the similarities, and the similarities in acting styles, and the things that make us unique. And that in itself has been a huge pleasure for me. I mean, my educational background's in computer science with a minor degree in psychology. So I come into any situation. My normal job, I work in healthcare for IT, on the IT side. And my agency is on the front lines, in the fight against the coronavirus. But I come in as somebody who analyzes and looks at processes. So when I came on set for the first time, for me, what was such a huge thrill was being able to observe the filmmaking process from behind the scenes. I've only seen it from the front end as a movie watcher. But when you see it behind the scenes and realize all these people that you see in the end credits, like, what the hell is a gaffer? And all these other things that you see, and you're like, well, what does all this mean? And being able to see it all behind the scenes and realize that you have to have your processes defined, and everybody has to be in sync. Otherwise,
right,
you're going to have a disaster. And for me, that was just so wonderful, because then I could take that information. I took it back to my, to the business world, government world, and I was able to share with my colleagues that, as part of my lessons learned, that these are some of the processes. This is how they define the processes. These are the mechanisms they use to enact their processes. And, maybe we learned something from that, and, their best practices, and maybe we can improve ourselves. And I take that back to life in general, being able to experience the good and bad and observe it in others and learning from it. I mean, I have the pleasure and privilege of speaking nationwide now, giving motivational speeches. I've given motivational speeches in some pretty, great places to fantastic audiences. Probably the most unusual place I ever gave a motivational speech was on a packed flight coming back from Las Vegas to Maryland. I had just competed at the U.S. Open in table tennis there in Las Vegas. And one of the stewardesses saw my medal I was wearing. And they had asked me to speak on the plane. They actually had me come up. I walked up to the front right next to the door.
How cool is that?
Say,
it was
how neat
incredible.
is
It was
that?
the thrill of a lifetime. And I got the little speaker box. I started speaking. I could see all these people peeking up above their airplane seat. And I shared my story. I poured my heart and soul to everybody on that plane.
That's awesome.
And when all was said and done, there was silence and then some clapping and then some tears. People were crying as I was walking by in the aisle. Somebody said that, hey, my family member has Parkinson's disease, and hearing your story is giving me hope to help them. And that's what it's all about. To be able to use our experiences that we each have and being able to use it not only to help ourselves, but hopefully to help others and make a positive impact.
Exactly. It's everything.
It really is.
For me, this part of my life, that's exactly what I want to do. And I have to. It's like oxygen. I have to get that out to people. And I know that's why you're here and why you've showed up in my life. Go ahead and tell us about, you were on, the first movie that you did was Bridge of the Doomed.
No, first movie actually was last year. I made my debut in Attack of the Unknown. Attack of the Unknown.
Tell us about Attack of the Unknown. It's a great trailer. I love the trailer.
Thank you. The movie was produced and written by the Mahal brothers, and it was directed by Brandon Slagle. It stars Richard Grieco, Tara Reid, and Robert Lasardo. And then there's a whole bunch of other people in the cast that everybody's just phenomenal. I mean, I'm in awe when I was there on set. The movie premise is basically, here I was, I'm part of a SWAT team. My character's name is Atul, Atul. I'm the SWAT team driver and one of the officers. Richard Grieco is my captain, and we're on a team. We basically capture a drug cartel boss, Robert Lasardo, and we're transporting him to a prison facility. And on the day that we're transporting him, aliens from another planet decide to attack the Earth. Only in Hollywood. Go figure.
Imagine
but they're scary-looking aliens, though. I will say that. This is a badass-looking movie. I mean, the special effects look amazing.
Yeah.
And this whole movie
blew
looks
my mind.
Incredible. Just really, really awesome.
Thank you. And the movie, happy to say, it got picked up by Gravitas Ventures. It's going to be distributed worldwide starting this summer. It's going to be opening up in select theaters nationwide in, I believe, 10 of the 22 major markets, I was told. I will let folks know exactly the date when it comes out, but I've been told that it'll definitely be this summer. It'll be released on all video-on-demand platforms. And, it was such an experience to be on that set, and to work with Richard Grieco was the thrill of a lifetime for me. I had seen him like everybody else. I was awed by his performances in Booker and 21 Jump Street.
We all kind of grew up together without knowing.
Yeah.
We all just kind of grew up with Richard, right?
Yeah. And who can forget the Night at the Roxbury? I mean, that's one of the funniest movies of all time.
My favorite.
That's a good one.
Oh my God, yeah.
I joke with Richard to this day that my favorite scene in that movie is when one of the Butabi brothers tells Richard they're in the Roxbury, and they're like, Richard, are you meeting Johnny Depp here? and the look on Richard Grieco's face was just the funniest look. It was definitely one of my favorite scenes. But working with him was phenomenal. He taught me a lot. The main lesson that Richard taught me was the best advice he gave me was to listen and react, which was perfect advice because as a motivational speaker, that's something I've always done. Listening to my audiences, reacting appropriately, and this really helped me on set because there were times on set, and this is normal, where a script might get changed at the last second. So you have to be able to dynamically react to last minute changes
all the time.
And and then it came to a point where, I was in a scene where I was a background in this one scene. We're in the locker room where, we're all part of the SWAT team. Richard comes into the locker room and tells us to, suit up and get ready to leave. And then once the scene is done, we're all walking out, and Richard pretty much gives me a free line in the movie. It says, Atul, are you ready? And I had to react. So I said the first thing that came to mind was, ready to rock and roll, sir. And walked out. And I was so grateful. to Richard, for giving me that line. As somebody who's new to the acting world, I'm pretty much at the bottom. We don't get a whole lot of lines. So even that one extra line he didn't have to do that. And that.
So he knew when he was saying that to you. When someone says something like that to you, they're giving you something. They're not done yet. And he basically gave you your first line in the movie.
He gave me one of my lines. I do have other lines in the movie, but not in that scene.
But not in that scene. So that was definitely a gift. And they can't take that out. They couldn't edit that out.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Yeah. That's really cool. That's very cool. He's like that. He has a heart of gold. He really does. It's really cool. I'm glad that you were able to work with him. And The Night at the Roxbury. That's hilarious.
Thank you very much.
So you have 2 other ones that you're working on or we're in the process of working on that are coming up?
Yes, so the next project that I have, we were supposed to start filming mid-April. I had my airline flight tickets, everything was over, hotel was reserved. Then, unfortunately, with the coronavirus, we had to cancel everything. Mm-hmm. So it's on hold right now. That movie is called Bloodthirst. It's also by Mahal Brothers. And for that movie, I'll be cast as a vampire. Very, very exciting movie. It's a post-apocalyptic movie with vampires. It stars Tara Reid.
I always wanted to be a vampire.
I'll be one of the vampires. I have direct lines with Tara Reid. That'll be an experience.
Congratulations. And, congratulations.
Thank you. And just being the important thing, just again, being grateful and receptive to learning. Being up, I'm coming on there. I'm just excited to learn from everybody and take it as a learning experience, and most importantly, just stay humble always. And that's why Hollywood will never change me. And I don't believe it changes anybody. I think it's a choice that we all. It's not that Hollywood changes people. It's the decisions that we all individually make. Because that's what it comes down to. It comes down to a choice.
Such a great point.
You choose to react a certain way, and my nature, I'm going to choose to stay humble and just stay appreciative. And
it amplifies.
I'm better
who
than
you
nobody.
Are.
And absolutely,
it just amplifies it. I believe it's just my. Yeah, I can't wait for Bloodthirst. I was supposed to be on that plane too, so I'm looking forward to when it finally gets up and running again, that I can go behind the scenes and see you on set and take pictures and videos for the cast and crew. We're real excited about that, and very excited. I love the premise of the movie, and I can't give it away because it's still in production, but it's unlike any other movie. I can say that.
Very cool.
And with Mahal and with Mahal Brothers on that, they really they don't put out anything that's junk. It's really good and it's really solid. So
I have a question. So what would you say? You've got such great, powerful messages.
Yes.
And I love it. It's just exactly what I work. I work mostly with women. I work with a few men, but mostly my clientele are women. But what would you say to somebody who wants to get into the world of acting? For this applies for both of you. And they're not young, coming right out of the acting school. They might be in their mid to late 30s, early 40s, and it's something new that they want to do. What one piece of advice, if you had to sit down with somebody and say, if you did one thing, this is the one thing you should do? I know it's a powerful question, so you might take a minute, but what would that advice be?
For me, I would say do your research. Know your audience, and you can't expect to undertake or accomplish anything without knowing your audience and doing your research. You're doing your homework beforehand, so that way you increase your odds of success. And more importantly, that true success may not be success at first. You may fail. You may get knocked down. And again, like everything else I've experienced, the joy is picking yourself back up and realizing that, okay, I did not get this part. That doesn't mean I'm a bad person. That just simply means that the director had somebody, the casting people had somebody they envisioned to fit the part, and I'm not that person. And that's perfectly fine. And, rather than me feeling upset, I'm actually happy for them because that just shows that they know who they want. And I wish them success, because that's the one thing I've learned about being in the movie industry just for this short time, that it's not what I expected, in the sense that everybody in the movie industry seems very supportive of each other. I see so many
Right.
posts on Facebook where everybody is always congratulating the other people, and
That's awesome.
movie companies are congratulating other movie companies. It's amazing. It's, you always hear about competition and, competition being so important, but I've always been the opposite in the sense that I think cooperating with everybody, there's something to be said about that.
Right.
It brings us all closer together. And
It's so true. And that's a great message, because Jen and I have talked about this all week long. We've been talking about shackling boundaries, and it on the reverse, you're on the reverse end of it. So the director may have said no to the actor or actresses trying to get that part.
Well, that's the thing. It's a business.
It's a business. But
a business.
Understanding, like what you said, is just because it's a no now doesn't mean it's not a yes later. So just keep trying.
And then this is the only industry. Now I'm going to go back to it's a business. When you go to do anything in life, you have to approach it like a business plan. That's the easiest way to do it, because that way, once it's written down, you're good to go. If it's rambling in your head the whole time, you got to get it out. And so for me, if you treat it like a business, then you have more in it. You have more skin in the game. And as I've said, the good people are protected. And that's what needs to be done, because there's a lot of people, that are out there. One girl came to, her whole family came to Women in Film. She spent $700 on pictures, and I said, "Whose picture is this?" She looked like she was 30. She was 12. I was appalled, because I wanted to go beat the crap out of the person that had sold them all of these crazy pictures and put all these filters on a 12-year-old. And that's when I told him, as a producer or director, if you're coming to the audition and I'm expecting a 12-year-old child, by God, I'm expecting a 12-year-old child that looks like my girl, who is a child, not a sexualized version, not somebody that's in their 20s or 30s. I'm looking for that character, because whatever is written, whatever the project has taken on, we have to reflect what's been written. We have to reflect the characters of that. It doesn't have anything to do with you not being short enough or not being tall enough or not having the right weight. It's how are we going to build this story? Because that's what it's about. It's about conveying the story and having whoever's watching it love, hate, fall in love with the movie, want to see it again over and over again, and because it becomes a part of your life. And when you want that longevity and cult following, hopefully, then you have to really know your target audience and who you're going for. And a lot of people, when they start off with acting, they take all of these classes and everything, and that's great, because you have to understand the industry. It's a business. But this is a business of relationships. And that's the real key that people don't understand, is this is a business of relationships. It's not a monetary business on the inside. We want to work with each other because, like in Tampa, we love filming out of my house. We can do a lot with it. But it's the same vibe of being home.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody's on base when they're on my set. And it's going to be the best set. No one's skating. Everybody's on set, and we're ready to rock and roll. And we're going to have so much fun doing it. So with Bloodthirst, they were having the same cast and crew, basically, of Attack of the Unknown, because you want to work with them again. You want to have that vibe. You want to be home.
Right.
For a lot of us, we are kind of like gypsies, and our family is our set life. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's our life. That's our heart. That's our soul. This is where our oxygen is. That's why it's rare.
And I think for me, for somebody who's not in the industry, that's very powerful. I always thought of it as it's a business, from watching from the outside in, and it's such, you said something about niching, like niching down, like with the 12-year-old, you have to niche down. Even your business, even in our businesses, we niche down to who is our ideal marketplace, who's the ideal actress you want. And like you said, you want that person, that's who you want to work with. That's who, you don't want to work with a person that doesn't fit that niche, because you're just wasting your time, and you're wasting their time.
No, and that's the problem. And when you see movies and you see somebody that put in their brother, their cousin, their uncle, and they're not the character, they're not the character. You know it. And you can give your friends a free line over here or over there and put them into salad tomatoes or whatever. But it's not the same as the authenticity of the story.
Right.
I mean, we can never imagine Forrest Gump without, we can never imagine the characters that Hollywood has given us without it being that star, without that person,
Right.
without emulating that character, so much so that you can't think of it any way other than the way it's been filmed.
Yep, that's true. I mean, I watched. That's coming. I agree with you. That's coming from a girl who watched Dirty Dancing over 20 times. So I can tell you almost every line in it because I love those characters, those two characters. So.
Easy man. Oh yeah. Okay, let's bring it back to Kumar.
Yes. So
From Navin to Dirty Dancing.
So what's next for you? So we know about these two. So going, those two projects you're working on. What is some of your goals you have for yourself?
I would say in terms of what's next, ultimately to continue kicking my Parkinson's disease butt.
Mm-hmm.
And with Parkinson's, I was diagnosed 7 years ago. I'm on my 7th year now. That was a very scary time because I was also having heart issues, and getting back into table tennis really helped me at first as a hobby, but then I got coached by a national level coach, and then all these good things happened with winning these competitions, getting the medals and stuff. But the table tennis improved my overall health, and improved my Parkinson's.
How did that improve? How does playing table tennis, because anyone can do it at home. I think that's the amazing thing. You showed us on Facebook. Yeah. You can do this anywhere in your house. Put a table up against the wall and just play off of the wall. How does that improve Parkinson's?
That's a great question, and that's actually something I've been as a motivational speaker, I've been sharing with people for the last 5 years that I've been publicly speaking on Parkinson's. I actually take a table tennis paddle with me. I show people when my hands start to shake. I put a ping pong paddle in my hand, and you can even see now, you can see my hands are stopped shaking. So something about the game of table tennis, it does something to the brain.
Wow.
Don't know if it's the speed of the game or what, but I'm not the only one that this has happened to. I represented the USA at the World Parkinson's Table Tennis Championships this past October. We had Parkinson's people from worldwide come, and every one of those Parkinson's athletes all saw improvement in their Parkinson's thanks to table tennis. So researchers are actually looking into it now. There's a researcher in China that's currently is going to be speaking to the whatever the main neurology association in Canada sometime this year. He's supposed to speak about some research they've started with table tennis and the positive impact it has on Parkinson's. But we know that staying physically active is the key to fighting Parkinson's, in addition to taking the medications and everything. So for me, staying active, there's a physical aspect and there's a mental aspect. And with the movie acting as well, because movie acting requires you to be able to memorize lines and stuff, that has had a positive impact on my Parkinson's.
That's cool.
With my memory. So going forward, my goal is to continue movie acting, to continue to play table tennis as I continue to represent our country, and showing the world that when I tell people when they first hear about me, and they hear about somebody with a history of heart surgeries and Parkinson's, they likely envision somebody who's handicapped, bedridden, weak, and feeble. And then they meet me and they realize that I'm far from that. I tell people that I feel like I'm 21 right now. I don't even feel like I'm 46.
Right.
True age
awesome.
is attitude. And, I'm showing the world that, I wasn't even an athlete before I had Parkinson's. That's the one thing people don't realize. Parkinson's seems to end a lot of careers, sports careers. But for me, it actually started my sports career. How do you explain that?
That's
incredible.
Awesome. Yeah, that's really
and
awesome.
I think it comes down to attitude. Having an attitude of gratitude, having that humility, and not fearing failure. If I fail on any given day, I'll laugh it off, pick it up, analyze what I did wrong, and I come back stronger and harder. And when you do that, you'll be surprised what you can defy the odds. And that's what I hope to continue going forward. I'm honored that I was recently selected to be part of a major 5 movie project that's coming up, where I'll get to play somebody a character. I can't give too much details right now, but
Actually, you
I'll be happy
can.
with-
I will be able. No, because I have a surprise for you.
Oh, thank you.
So I have a surprise for you. I was going to bring that up. Because of what you and I are doing behind the scenes, what he's talking about is my screenplay, Aurora Hotel. It's a 5-part movie franchise. And I needed someone to help me in the holes of my script. I knew I had holes in the script, but I knew we were going to change them anyway. And I waited and I asked. And this goes into my ask, believe, and receive. And I just, throw it up to heaven and wait for it to come back. And you were exactly what I asked for, which is really cool. And we came up with this part of it that is the philosophy, right? That you can't say the religious part of it, but it really goes into that. And without Navin on board coming with me, and all of a sudden, and then through the conversation, I realized this is my guy. This is the person. See that this is.
I think that's
and it goes back to what we were talking about. It's not, it has to be character driven. It has to be what you've written. Yeah, you can improv, but it has to be this has to be the person, through and through, 1,000%. And exactly what I wanted came through with Nav. And so
that's awesome.
Yeah, you can keep going.
Wow.
Welcome.
I didn't expect that, but,
welcome, associate producer,
yay,
Navin P. Kumar.
Thank you.
So you can add that to your list.
I'm beyond thrilled to be part of this project, and as Jen was saying, this Aurora Hotel movie is a dream for me in the sense that it gives me an opportunity to play a character much like myself, but also being able to portray my ancestral India heritage in a positive way that cool. I don't believe Hollywood has ever seen before.
That's awesome.
They haven't. It's awesome.
If I had to describe this character I'm playing, I would say it's probably a cross between a Mr. Miyagi and Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh,
in a
that's so,
sense.
I'm
very
excited.
much.
I've been watching her just since I've known Jen, since October? Since October. And I mean, she's got such a love for this. So I'm so excited to watch it start happening and come to fruition. And I think it's going to be an amazing project.
And I would say the hardest part of anything in life, especially with this and where we are, is you have to, there's a lot of hurry up and wait. There's a lot of hurry up and wait. Hurry up, get your makeup on. Okay, wait. But there's a lot of hurry up and wait when it comes to making a movie in general, or starting a business or whatever. And it's the waiting part that is like you savor, because when it manifests, it's like huge.
Exactly.
And to be able to have everything all of a sudden in this industry, when it manifests, it's a person. So that's what you want, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry, I'm not supposed to be touching you. But no, that's what you want. And so absolutely, Navin is the character through and through. And the more in depth we talked, the more in depth my character became alive, because you are the character. It's there. It's inside of you. It's everything. It's like a supernova, and we're going to explode and be organized with our explosions. But it's right there, and in a way to present the force and the way to present this to Hollywood in a way that is universal for everyone, regardless. Just like gratitude, regardless of your religious affiliations, political affiliations, what race you are, anything, gratitude is one big blanket. And so the philosophy behind his character that helps mold Richard Grieco's character, young Richard Grieco. I wonder if there's a mini-me Richard Grieco out there I would really like to have on set.
Well, we got to manifest that.
Well, he is manifested, honey. We just got to get him, that's all.
I fell in love with the script when Jen had shared the script with me.
Thank you.
I absolutely fell in love with it. Jen has a lot of talent.
She does.
With her writing. I immediately noticed that. And having Richard Greco as well, being able to direct, produce, and also star in this. That, of course, that was a no-brainer for me because, Richard has been a mentor for me. He's ever since Attack of the Unknown, even in the months leading up to Attack of the Unknown, Richard and I became closer in terms of keeping in touch as friends, and he's like a brother to me. So to be able to work with him in the second project has been great. But what a lot of folks don't realize, my name, Navin Kumar, Navin means new in Sanskrit. That's the ancient language in India where a lot of our names are based off of. Navin means new. Kumar means prince. When I had my first 2 open heart surgeries as a 3-year-old, prior to those surgeries, my parents told me I was very quiet. I didn't smile very much. I was probably in constant heart pain. And I didn't recover well after my first open heart surgery. And so the doctors had to reopen me up 2 weeks later. And that was having one heart surgery was tough, but having 2 as a 3-year-old, my parents were
so sorry.
They were prepared for the fact that I could very well die.
Right.
But after that second heart surgery, when I was initially quiet, now they couldn't shut me up. I was laughing, giggling. The nurses were all having fun with me and everything, and they could not shut me up. I was literally a new child. Hence, Navin means new. Kumar means prince. And if you trace my family lineage far enough, I'm a direct descendant of a king from ancient India by the name of King Koshika. That's significant because King Koshika, unlike a lot of other royalty that you see, that you've experienced, yeah, he was a rich, powerful king. He had everything he could possibly want. But King Koshika eventually gave up the royal life. He gave it all up. He decided that it wasn't for him, and he wound up instead becoming a spiritual saint, a teacher, living a life of poverty, changing his name from Koshika to Vishwamitra, who anybody who follows the Hindu religion or knows anything about Hinduism will know that Vishwamitra was the teacher of King Rama in the Indian epic Ramayana. And my point here is Vishwamitra, if you look at the name, means friend of humanity, friend of the world. So while I may not be royalty, I do believe I got my ancestors' genetic disposition to wanting to be a friend of humanity. So again, Vasudeva Kutumbakam, all of humanity is one family. And I believe that this character I'll be portraying in the Aurora Hotel will give me an opportunity to share with Hollywood and share with the world that aspect of my India culture that people haven't seen before. Yeah, they've seen people in India, being doctors or cab drivers or, talking with thick Indian accents, trying to speak English, and which is comical for some, but that's not what we're all about. There's so much more. There's so much more to any culture. And I believe the more you delve into any culture, we realize how similar we all are, which is why I've mentioned to Jen with my own, with every heart surgery, I've had people worldwide of all faiths pray for me, pray for my survival. And having that faith from all cultures has given me a unique aspect on religion, on faith, where I cannot be disrespectful to any faith. I see every faith as legitimate.
Right.
And just like in that movie Life of Pi, where that character told his parents, I'm not Hindu, I'm Hindu, Muslim, and Christian. And they laughed at him. How can you be all of them? Why not? I choose to see, I see the world, I see every religion as a point on a circle. You take a circle.
This is it.
I pick a point on any circle. If I draw a line from that circle to the center of the circle, that's a radius. Well, my radius, your radius might be this one. You might pick this point. That's a radius right there. What you learn is every radius is equal. Every radius from a perspective, if you alter the perspective of that circle and you rotate it, every radius is ultimately the same. It's unique. It's unique, but it's also the same because they're all radiuses.
Right.
And then you realize that every angle of viewing the divine is simply a different perspective. And it's not even about who's right or who's wrong. It's having a perspective. And even if you don't have a perspective, say you don't believe, you're an atheist, maybe that's a radius with invisible ink. Who knows?
I say that.
But,
I said
That requires faith too. And I
was gonna
had a
say
guy
that
on my show and I said that.
Yeah.
And I said, that requires faith too. And he goes, yeah, it does. It requires faith to be an atheist. And I'm like, see?
Yep, it does. I want to ask you a question.
Hang on for a
Okay,
second.
sorry.
I want to go back. What he's saying, and I'm going to be crying because it's exactly what I've been wanting so bad. I didn't know how to get it out. I didn't know how to say it. That's Aurora. There are so many parts of what I've written that I want to be like that black diamond or gray diamond, that you see the facets, but it's all there.
Right.
You just can't see it. And with a black diamond, you have all the facets there. It's still a diamond in the rough. It's one of my favorite things. But all the facets are there. You just turn it a little bit and then you can see it. It's very powerful. And
Great explanation.
he innately took that, and we're making that part of it in Aurora so everybody will understand.
so cool.
There's so many lessons to be learned in this horror movie of mine. So that basically it is a legal convention gone bad at a demon-run hotel. We're killing lawyers. But it's nice. They're, only the bad ones. But we're killing lawyers. Somebody should. And, in Hollywood. So that's what we're doing, but we're doing it nicely. I want to have depth. I want to have soul. I want to have so much of me in this movie. And what I wanted about India, and the reason why I was waiting for India to show up in that part of it, that's you, Nav, is that in my childhood, you and I have so much in common. I was in the hospital as a child for like a year. Yeah, kind of left. And I'm going to that's where you come in, because I want someone to hypnotize me.
Okay.
And I want to go back and find that I'm not crazy, that I've actually had. I know we're completely going off from interviewing at this point. This is the edited part of it. But I've gone back, and you keep referring back to when you were in the hospital as a child. I was in the hospital as a child. In Aurora, there's children in hospitals. That part of it connects in with the movie. That's where we start out, with a scene of children being in a hospital. And that connection is amazing. And for me, having influences of India growing up, and all the bright colors, and the food, and it was so glamorous. I told you about that. It's such a beautiful country, and growing up at Disney, and seeing It's a Small World, having all of that, and Epcot, and spiraling to where I thought we all had this outlook in life, and we don't. And you find that out, but it's so nice connecting in with you, because you have that same outlook in life, and you have that same philosophy you've had your entire life. And to be able to write it out and collaborate with it and put it in a movie is really extraordinary. It's like the movie behind the movie, And
even the name that we chose for the character that I portray, my character's name is Hiren, Hiren, which if you look in Sanskrit, Hiren means Lord of Diamonds. And that's important because the whole concept with diamonds, diamonds are symbolic of the light. And I believe that, in terms of light and darkness, you can find that light within the darkness. If you stay in a dark room for a long enough period of time, your eyes adapt eventually, and eventually you're able to see. You cannot have darkness without light. You can't have light without darkness. You find they're so closely integrated, and this movie touches upon that theme of good and bad, lightness and darkness, and realizing that maybe it's not as different as it seems.
Exactly.
Maybe there's a lot of similarities too, and
I'm excited to see it come to fruition. I think it's going to be amazing. It's going to be fun to watch you put it together. It's going to be fun to watch all the characters come together, and I can't wait to be kind of behind the scenes watching it all
What
happen.
was your question?
So I want to bring us back to a second because a lot of what I do in my coaching too, I do coach. Some of my clients do have Parkinson's, and so if somebody wanted to find your story and be inspired, because I think it's amazing. I talk to them about their eating, how are they eating, what kind of foods are they eating to help support their Parkinson's and to be able to have an active like what you're doing. If somebody wanted to find you and hear some more what you speak on that, where can they find you at?
Excellent question. If they do a Google search on me, I'm honored to say I'm nicknamed the Bionic Man in the table tennis world because of I have a partially mechanical heart. I have a pacemaker as well. And the best part about being bionic is the cool souvenirs I get to keep every time I get replacements. But if people Google Bionic table tennis, that's BIONIC table tennis, 3 words, they will see a bunch of articles written about me worldwide. They'll also see a bunch of videos, including past television interviews. I've been featured on ABC News. I've been featured on NBC News. Been featured worldwide in India as well. China did a story on me after the World Table Tennis Championships. The China Daily, which is China's biggest newspaper, worldwide newspaper, they did a story on me, and there's also a video out there that has some. It starts off with me playing my match and saying a few words as well, and then you hear from others from that tournament as well with Parkinson's. It's important for people to realize that Parkinson's is not fatal. It can lead to other issues that can be fatal, but having Parkinson's itself is not fatal. So that's probably the biggest thing that I get from people who reach out to me is they're immediately concerned they're going to die. And that's not the case. This goes back to what I was saying with anything that you face in life. See, for me, I've had medical issues my whole life. So yeah, when they told me I had Parkinson's, I was like, something else to conquer, hopefully. But for a lot of people, this might be the first time they're facing a difficult health struggle, and I'm very respectful of that. So I encourage people to Google me, and they can Google Bionic Table Tennis, see what's been written, and then they'll realize maybe what I have to say about being positive and how to approach the tough times in life, maybe that'll help them. I'm hoping it will. They can also Google my name, Navin P. Kumar. That'll take them. The first Google hit is my IMDb page, and they can see all my current projects. There's a bio as well that tells my full story. I also have one of my television features. I don't have any, the video clips that people post, actors that show their acting capabilities. I haven't gotten one of those yet, but I'm in the process of getting one, hopefully soon. But for now, I have a video clip from one of my television features that's on my IMDb page, so people can take a look at that and hopefully get inspiration.
Well, I'm glad you're sharing the story, and I can't wait to, when I get back home, is to reach out to a couple of people and share that, because I work with them and I talk to them about the way they're eating and their supplements and their vitamins and things like that. So thank you for sharing that. I think there's some people who don't know you that are going to learn a lot, and you're going to inspire them a lot.
Well, and to have something that's so accessible and easy at home as table tennis, and it's simple. Now I'm going to be going to the store and getting it.
I think, you gave me one little secret, so I can go home. And my husband got mad because he got rid of his table tennis. We had no more room in the garage. It was taking up space and dust in the garage. So I can go home and tell him, hey, you can have a table tennis if you want. I'll just, we'll set you up something right here in the house. So thank you for that.
We're going to the store before we go home.
I encourage everybody who wants to try table tennis, try it with the understanding that true victory does not come with winning your match. It comes from playing the game. I've seen so many people, including myself, that have benefited from playing table tennis. And that's the biggest message I hope to convey to people is play the game for the love of the game. No matter even if it's table tennis or even other sports, play for the love of the game. And in this case with table tennis, reap the health benefits. Whether you win or lose, we all reap the health benefits. So
right.
Well, and before we got on, I said, my husband, he plays it for the love of the game. I mean, we've been together over 33 years, and he plays it for the love of the game. And so when you do come to town, we're just going to have you two get together, and we're not going to tell him about how your great experience together.
I love that.
It'll be our secret.
That is very, very cool. Well, one of the things I think is interesting and really noteworthy is the fact that, like you're saying, people who get the diagnosis of Parkinson's, they consider it this evil thing that's happened. With you, you've completely turned it around, and you are a world table tennis championship. I mean, you're a champion. You've won it. You've done it. And without Parkinson's, that wouldn't have happened. That's a gift. We are in the forms that we are talking about when it comes to Aurora. What one person may think is evil, to another person, it's a gift that's completely unexpected and that you wouldn't think would be a gift according to society, until you open it up and you realize, and then there's something for someone else. And when you open up one gift, there's another one, that's there to open up.
It really is. And everybody, and I think what you're saying too today is everybody, and Jen, you just said it too, everybody has a gift.
Right.
You just have to find that gift, and then it is a gift, so you gift it to others, no matter what it is, whether it's public speaking, table tennis, acting, whatever that is, you have a gift, and it's your job to share that gift.
It is.
Absolutely.
Navin, it is a pleasure as always. I think we should have some type of table tennis challenge.
A virtual
while everybody's sequestered, we should do something. Have people in different parts of their house playing table tennis up against the mirror in the bathroom. Or
there you go. Something. We get a table.
I think we should have an unofficial rule with that all movie sets should have a table tennis table somewhere on set, so that people can not only relieve stress or whatever, but they can also have fun and reap the health benefits in between acting scenes.
I think that's a great idea.
That would get on my nerves.
I think Jen will have one at her studio.
Not unless there's soundproof room to go with it. I'm gonna all that ding donging in the background. We'll work on something for your trailer. Your trailer, the green room. We'll have it in the green room, not my house. But yeah, that's a good idea, though. That is a really great idea, and I appreciate it. Is there anything else that you would like to add?
Just for folks to, stay positive during these. We live in an age right now where we're faced with a lot of negativity, not only from the media, but all around us. And it's important that we remind ourselves not to let that negativity rob us of our humanity.
Exactly.
To have compassion for each other. Going back to what I was mentioning about the post office story, and just not forgetting our humanity and sense of compassion. And that'll give us the strength to get through these tough times. Also, with all these struggles that we face with the coronavirus, it's my hope that we look beyond what's happening now, and the people who have the authority to be able to go back and look at this from a process perspective and see what can we do to improve the process going forward, so that way, if we are faced with this kind of calamity in the future, we can develop vaccines quicker, or take steps to ensure that we don't have shortages of critical supplies, to ensure that our healthcare workers have the needed supplies like the masks and whatever to protect themselves, because the moment that our doctors and nurses get sick, who's going to take care of the rest of us?
Exactly.
That we have to have procedures and processes in place, and maybe if we see this as a learning opportunity, we can better prepare ourselves in the future.
That's a great message.
That's a wonderful message. I appreciate you so much. And thank you for being on the show. I look forward to talking with you soon. More with Aurora.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It was awesome sharing the day with you.
Thank you, ma'am. Very nice to meet you,
Take
too.
care.
Same here.
You're blessed, you're loved, you're sacred.
Thank you,
Have
ma'am.
a beautiful day.
Have
Thank
a beautiful
you, Navin.
day. Okay.
Nice. All right. Thanks, Navin. Bye, sweetie. I'll call you later. Thanks.
Bye. You want to cancel? Yes.
Nice.
Okay. End meeting. Yes. End meeting. Bye, Navin. That was a great. Do you see what was on your?
And I still want to, and I I want to add that on there.
Oh, are we taking these off?
Yeah, no.
Oh, I'm
Not
sorry.
yet. Not
I'm
yet.
sorry.
Not yet. Not yet.
We'll edit
No,
that
wasn't
out.
that a really good?
That was a great interview. I was very honored to meet him. I mean, his story. I love hearing stories of, awesome success like that. Like he took. There's so many people in the world that could have taken. I mean, my gosh, 5 heart surgeries and could have been like, oh, woe is me. I'm just gonna sit back and everybody cry. No, he turned it around, and then to add that now he's got Parkinson's. I mean, I just think it's amazing that his message that you can overcome anything. You are not what your circumstances are.
Right, and right out of the gate from being birthed, having, for his parents and us as parents, having your child with something that life-threatening, that they're going to have surgery after surgery after surgery. What he didn't share was that he has another upcoming surgery to change out his pacemaker in May. He doesn't know if it's going to be able to go through or not with the virus around.
Right.
And he takes everything in stride, knowing that, he might not make it past that surgery, that something could go wrong because you're dealing with your heart. And he wasn't supposed to live this long. That's the part that I really want to bring to you. If we knew we weren't going to be here but for this amount of time, what would we do with our life? And one of the things that I really believe is coming out of all of this that we're going through for the whole world, what do you want to do in your life? What do you really want to do? Who do you want to spend it with? And what does it look like? What does your life look like? What do you want it to look like? And how are you going to get it there? And to take that time for yourself to reevaluate. Don't wait until you're having a midlife crisis. Wait until you can be still and then think, where do you want to go? Because there's a lot of living left to be done.
It really is.
And I know people are going crazy. Their investments are all wonky. Projects are put on hold. More projects are put on hold. Business is put on hold. People are out of work.
Yep. And I think
this is a service country.
Right.
And our service departments are gone.
Yep. I think what you just said too, while all this is going on, this is a great time to be still. I mean, it really is a perfect time to be still. Even if you are working from home and you have that availability to work from home,
right.
Even if you are that person who has a restaurant that's standing curbside, there is a time in this to be still. Even during the day, if it's at the end of the day you're coming home from serving the curbside meals or end of the day from working from home, you need to sit down and be still with that. That you have the luxury and the benefit, I don't know if it's a luxury, but you have the opportunity to still help yourself and help your community, but you need to be still with that and be appreciative of that. And think about, let it be a time to a reflection of when we come out of this, don't go back to the crazy busy world we have. I truly believe no matter who you believe in, no matter what your higher thought is, I truly believe, for me, God said, you know what? You guys think 2020 is this. You are not doing 2020 with a clear vision. Let me yank you back. Did I want it to be a coronavirus? No. But I really think you have this amazing gift right now. And do things, connect with people, check on your neighbors.
Right.
And just do things that you can be still with yourself to say, what is my really end goal? And you may sit back and find out that, you know what? I don't want to go back to that job I had that I'm not working at right now.
No.
You may say, I have a business I can start. I'm watching businesses being creative out of this.
We're watching a lot of businesses being created out of this.
And I think
that's
it's amazing.
The best part of it, I think, is what it's really going to look like. Because when you peel it back, it would be nice. It would be nice. What I want, I'm very specific in what I want. I want more people like Navin, that if I had left something in my car or I didn't have it with me, I'm out of that line I was in for an hour and I'm at the back of it and they're like, no, you get back to the front. Come back where you were. You were right in front of me. It's okay. I want people to play it forward and be classy. And that's what we need. I think for so long we were getting to be too edgy.
We were.
Edgy, not in a good way. Not in the 80s, I'm wearing ripped jeans and I'm edgy.
Right.
I'm talking about just the way that we treat each other and to actually have gratitude and respect for one another and each of our different cultures and where we are in our lives.
Yeah. And I'm thinking about, one of the things that we talked about last night at my home is that we're going to come out of this right around the time we're going to have an election.
Right.
So be nice to each other.
Kindness.
No matter what side of the fence you vote on, be nice and respect that everybody has that. Like Navin said, he appreciates that he has the opportunity to recognize that we're all the same inside, and that he loves that he is here in America and he has the opportunities. So we need to embrace that. Yeah,
It's a blessing, you know.
And so come out of this with, if you have a business, start working on that. Whatever that is, be still with it. And I would encourage you to be still with your kids. I sat and had a conversation with my youngest one. He came over to my office in Lakeland last night.
What age is your youngest one?
My youngest one is 20 years old. So
it's not really a youngest one.
Well, it's my youngest one and my two boys, but
I'm looking at you like I have a 13-year-old.
And so we sat down last night for an hour because his dorm, he's on the crisis committee at his dorm, and they still are at the dorms. And we sat down, and I was still with him for a minute. I said, "How are you feeling about this? What's everybody talking about your school?" I wanted him to share, and he shared those feelings, and he talked about, "I'm okay with it. I'm calm because I know everything happens for a reason. It's my friends around me that are freaking out, and he's trying to be that calm one." And I thought it was really, he's like, I'm telling them to be quiet and just do what we need to do for our work. And so that's why Be Still kept coming to me last night. Just be still with it.
And I have one of my favorite books. It's a
Can I
book
say something
from
before you show this?
Pearl.
Do you see what page you're on today?
Yeah, I do.
It says Be Positive. And
Be
that's what we've talked
positive.
about all day today.
And that's what we were doing. This is an adult color book, but it's also for brain dumping. One of the things that I did, this is one of the, and I don't want to use this book because I like all the pages that you're supposed to color, right? But you're supposed to rip them out and, I guess, burn them.
Burn your brain dump.
What I did, this was my brain dump, but it wasn't in your book, is I have stuff that I was supposed to have saved during my storm, for my storm. And last night when I was painting, I threw it all in the fire.
I saw your fire.
I was
saw your
looking.
picture.
Oh, I didn't show you the pictures of the fire
I saw your fire
outside
pit.
of the fire because you guys would have been like, Jen. But yeah, I took it and I was taking all the stuff out and all the stuff that I wanted and saving up receipts for that, and just this was my life, and it's all a bunch of receipts, and everything's kind of in shambles in this part of my life, and I was able just to burn it all. And I'm like, yay.
So, such a release, right?
Such a release. And then I was able to take those ashes that were actually from the ashes of this part of my life and throw them on the canvas, man. And if I can teach you guys something on how to get through a storm and not spiral, and if, all of my projects came to a halt and there was nothing I could do about it, and I'm a doer. Like, I'm a freaking doer, man. There's things that need to be done, and I'm there. And it was just like sand going through my hands, and I couldn't do anything. And it was horrible, and it was really taxing. And I didn't realize that little parts of my life stopped working because of it. That was me going down the spiral, right?
Right.
And then when I realized I couldn't cook anymore and I lost my cooking mojo, I'm like, how do I get it back? And I realized everything goes back to painting. Everything goes back to painting. So as long as I'm painting, I'm good.
Yeah, it's like your own little therapy for yourself, and
I don't even know if it's.
I think it's therapy. I think it's also the release.
It's not like therapy. It's like I'm connecting in with a source. It's like I'm connecting. I can't even explain it. And I'm there for hours. I almost spent the night on the ground. It's kind of extreme. Yeah, I was like, yeah, well, anyway, so I had things happening, but it was, yeah, so anyway, but yeah, so I went back inside, and I had to like commune with my stuff, and next to the fire, and there's something so comforting. Like, I'm an extreme when it comes to abstract emotionalism. I don't know if anybody's as whacked as me on this stuff, but I'm really into it. And once I connect in, that's my church. That's my line.
Do you feel like you were letting go some of that?
it's like connecting into source energy. I don't know how to explain it. I'm not the, I'm literally walking into, if you've ever been on set, you've ever been on stage, the moment that you walk out of the back door into the stage area and you're in front of the audience, the live audience, that rush, that feeling, I don't know what that is. That's when I have that when I paint. I have that on the canvas. I have that on the ground. And
It's awesome. It's powerful.
I can't
Yeah,
not do that. So as long as I'm not walking away from that is a gift that I've been given, that I go back to, and it's been my gift since childhood.
That's awesome.
I just didn't know there was a genre.
You're right. There is a genre now for it.
I thought it was just me throwing stuff on the ground and painting over it and just throwing more stuff. And it's like, what the heck are you doing? It's not the way that you paint. So I was kind of shamed from it. Gotcha. And now it's like...
It's a beautiful gift coming back.
It's my horse.
It's your horse, yes.
Remember my horse?
There he is. Yep.
Live like someone left the gate open. That's me with painting. So I think if during this process, if you can get one of Pearl's books and paint or write on one side and color on the other, that's just a really amazing tool to do. How do they get these books?
So they can go to wsliving.com and get the book there, or you can go to Women's Successful Living on Facebook and private message me, and I can get you the book there. But while we're talking about how they contact me, how do they reach you? What's your website you have?
It's in progress. They can reach me at Jen Ward Hall on Facebook. On Instagram, I am Hockey Purse Jen, which is my private account. But I'm very accessible through Instagram. Jeez. Hockey Purse Jen, JENN. I used to go to the games, section 125 down below. Like my dude's name is Phil. He takes my tickets. And when I'm there, he still helps me out. But I had a hockey purse, and I saw it. When I saw this purse, man, it was like probably what guys feel like when they're looking at their Lambo or they're looking at their stuff. It was a steel hockey purse, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's mine. And it's made at littleearth.com. So if you go to littleearth.com, you can have any sports memorabilia, basically. It's on this purse. So that's why my Instagram is Hockey Purse Jen.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. That's very good.
So that's where you can find, that's why I'm Hockey Purse Jen.
Awesome.
So thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate you being a part of the show and listening in, no matter where you are, what you're going through. And we just want you to know that you are blessed, you are loved, and you are sacred. Have a beautiful day. Mwah.